This story begins with someone who suddenly found themselves deeply captivated by you. It is something that may have happened unexpectedly, as if an inexplicable force had taken over, awakening feelings that seemed dormant, latent, waiting for the right moment to emerge. But there is a weight to this feeling, a conflict that, despite being simple at its root, carries a depth that few fully understand. This person feels that the age difference between you, the generational gap, the time lived, and the accumulated experiences is an almost insurmountable barrier. The age between you has imposed itself as a problem that, in fact, goes far beyond numbers. It's a matter of perceptions, judgments, cultural issues, and expectations. This someone who fell in love with you may have never imagined they would face this internal battle, this anguish of desiring something that, in their mind, seems contradictory. He or she questions themselves all the time. Is it right? Am I being selfish? Am I imposing my experiences and dreams on this person? These are questions that arise intensely, revealing a whirlwind of feelings of desire and uncertainty. The age difference might make this person fear that you don't see the world the same way, that your plans for the future are not aligned, or that time might wear down something that seems so pure now. It's an internal struggle where passion confronts fear and desire meets hesitation. Perhaps this person feels that no matter how strong their feelings are, the weight of this issue could cause long-term suffering for both. He or she feels as if they're torn between what the heart desires and what reason tries to impose, like an internal struggle where love is pure and true, but the context reveals itself as somewhat uncertain, like a nebulous space, where the fear of the unknown takes the form of intrusive thoughts, doubts, and constant questioning. This person looks at you and feels a warmth invade their chest, but at the same time, a shadow of fear hovers over these feelings. However, even amidst all this confusion, there is something that transcends fear. Because deep down, this person knows that love doesn't choose age, that it manifests in its own essence without respecting the limits that society imposes. This connection that he or she feels with you goes beyond appearances, beyond the conventional. It is a soul connection that has no exact explanation and is not bound by time or generational differences. This conflict that seems so serious, however, reveals itself as further proof of how true and intense what this person feels for you is. Because despite all the fears, they remain there enveloped in these feelings, accepting their own conflict in the name of something that fills them in a unique way. It is a battle that this person does not fight out of pride or any superficial desire. They fight because when they look at you, they feel something that they may have never felt before. They look at you, and in the depth of their eyes there is a mix of tenderness and apprehension, as if the emotions were too deep to fit into words. Every time your gazes meet, their heart beats faster, almost as a constant reminder that the feeling is real, even if reason tries to suffocate it. It is a connection that doesn't need explanation, but that for them seems to demand justifications, especially in light of the weight of the age difference. For this person, the dilemma becomes a painful question. By investing in this love, would she be sacrificing the lightness of her youth, her freedom to explore and discover the world on her own terms? She worries about what it could take away from you, even though this might be a question that only makes sense within her own anxieties. It's as if, by loving you, she has to consider all the consequences, all the outside looks, all the comments that would inevitably arise. This hurts because she realizes that for you, perhaps age is not so significant, whereas for her the weight of this difference becomes an almost insurmountable obstacle. But the reality is that her heart cannot stay away. There is a force greater than logic, than calculations or probabilities. Something in this connection makes her feel alive, awakened, touched in a way she perhaps never imagined experiencing again. And no matter how much she tries to rationalize, every moment by your side makes the conflict between reason and emotion seem less relevant, as if the simple fact of being together were an adequate answer. The internal struggle does not disappear, of course. This person feels an almost uncontrollable urge to be by your side, to share her life, and at the same time, a feeling that this may not be fair, that it may be an imposition on her own journey. She fears that over time, you might feel that this difference becomes a burden, that perhaps the intensity of now will dissolve in the future. Even so, the feelings remain. It's as if each day by your side reinforces a certainty and at the same time feeds a doubt. And in this delicate balance, she seeks the courage to understand that love, deep down, is a decision that transcends external barriers. She wants to give in, but her internal struggle still calls for caution. With every glance they share, she feels an invisible current of emotions, something that makes her question whether it is really worth continuing to resist. The doubts become a distant echo, as if each of his smiles weakens the weight of fear and hesitation a little more. She realizes that their moments together are more than simple encounters. They are fragments of an authentic connection, of a presence that does not fit into labels or limitations. And although the age difference seems to her to be a huge factor, each moment by his side reminds her that the soul knows no time. It is at this point that courage begins to insinuate itself. She feels that this feeling, which at first seemed like madness, carries within it a transformative force. Loving you also means learning to overcome internal barriers, to demystify the concepts that once limited her. Loving you is a process of discovery and growth, where what matters is not the years that separate them, but the intensity with which they connect. At the same time, she begins to imagine a future, even though she is still apprehensive. The idea that they can build a story, something that transcends conventional patterns, starts to seem more possible. She wants to believe that this feeling is strong enough to face the challenges, because deep down this person knows that true love does not happen without some level of sacrifice, without a dose of surrender, and often discomfort. But, as much as she wants to surrender, she still fears others' opinions. There is a deep fear of judgment, that society will point its finger, as if this love is something to be censured. And this external pressure is real, even if unfair, because she lives in a world where people have expectations, where the age difference is often viewed with suspicion, where every relationship is analyzed through the lens of social standards, and any deviation is a cause for criticism. That's when she realizes that, for this love to be possible, it will require unshakable strength, a determination to follow her heart, even if it means facing disapproving glances. Loving you demands that she learns to trust the authenticity of what she feels, that she doesn't let the outside world interfere in a connection that is unique, that belongs solely to the two of you. She understands that life is too short to worry about other people's expectations, and that this rare feeling deserves to be lived. More and more, she feels that age is just a detail, a number that, although it has its relevance, does not define the depth or truth of what exists between you. She realizes that by allowing herself to live this love, she is also accepting her own vulnerability, willing to cross fears and insecurities, not just for the possibility of being with you, but for the sincere desire to discover how far this love can take you both. There is still a mix of fear and courage. She knows that by choosing you, she is accepting a path that may be difficult, but at the same time she feels that there is no alternative. The connection you have is rare, it's something that is not found every day. And, as much as society tries to label and limit, she understands that true love never follows predefined rules. And then she realizes that deep down, what truly matters is how you make her feel. There is sincerity in your words, a light in your smile, a peace in your gaze that she has never found in other people. It is this authenticity that captivates her, that makes her feel it might be worth facing whatever it takes to be by your side. At this point, she begins to wonder about the meaning of love beyond conventions and appearances. What you two have is something profound, a feeling that seems to disregard the lines of time, the demands of the outside world. She realizes that loving you is, above all, a form of liberation. It's a chance to experience something that doesn't need permission, that doesn't have to be validated by anyone other than the two of you. And with that, she starts freeing herself from the ties that once held her back, as if the chains of external expectations were slowly weakening. It's true that she still worries about the future. There is a part of her that fears the unknown, that wonders if down the line this age difference could become a burden. She worries that maybe at some point, the experiences you haven't yet had, the discoveries you haven't yet made, might turn into a distance between you two. She wonders if you might come to feel limited, as if you were giving up certain experiences by being by her side. And this concern consumes her, because the last thing she wants is to deprive you of something important. But even with these fears, she feels an overwhelming urge to move forward, to bet on what you have. Because deep down, she knows that love is not about controlling the future, but about living the present with intensity and truth. She understands that every moment with you is unique, and that the future is built with the strength of the feelings you live today. And then, doubt gives way to certainty. She allows herself to imagine a life by your side without hiding what she feels, without running away from the difficulties that may arise. She wants your love to be honest, open, free. She wants to build something where both of you can mutually support each other, where care and understanding overcome any obstacle that the age difference might bring. And in this moment of surrender, she commits to being truthful with you, to not hide what she feels, to give you a chance to also know her fears, her insecurities, but above all, the immense love she nurtures. She understands that this surrender is an act of courage, of trust, which requires from both a genuine willingness to face the unknown. This love demands vulnerability, and she is willing to strip away her own defenses. She wants to show you that, despite the doubts and fears, she is open to experiencing everything that your love can provide. She feels that this feeling is strong enough to overcome the challenges, that the connection between you two has the necessary depth to withstand the judgment of the world. And thus, she opens herself to this love, without reservations, ready for everything that may come, with the certainty that what you have is worth every risk, every step, every choice. She takes a deep breath, feeling the weight of the choice she is about to make. There is serenity, an acceptance of what love truly means. It is not the absence of fear, but a genuine willingness to traverse uncertainties alongside the one you love. Determined, she chooses to set aside others' opinions, the fear of judgments, the fear of what the future might bring. Because in the end, what truly matters is the present she lives by your side, the depth of what she feels, and the truth of what you share. She is ready to tell you what she feels, to open her heart without reservations, without masks, allowing each word to reflect the sincerity of her love. The age difference that once seemed like an insurmountable barrier now becomes a detail in the midst of a feeling so much bigger, so vast. This surrender is her act of courage, her silent cry to the world. True love does not follow standards. It exists to be lived. At this moment, she understands that love is not just a meeting of souls, but also a decision to face challenges together. It's about choosing every day to see the best in one another, to find strength in the shared presence, and above all, to let authenticity and trust support the path they have decided to take. This is her invitation to you, that you allow yourselves to live something that doesn't need justifications, only sincerity. Because in the end, the age difference is just a superficial layer of a feeling that goes beyond time, opinions, and the critical gaze of others. She wants you to know that every moment together is valuable, and that what really matters is the love you share, the truth of what you have built, and the sincere desire to continue side by side, whatever the future may bring. And now I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced something similar? Has the age difference ever been an obstacle for you in any relationship? Share your story here in the comments. Let's create a space for exchange where we can learn from each other's experiences and understand that love is, above all, a journey of discoveries and overcoming challenges. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to follow more reflections and stories that explore the challenges and beauty of relationships. Leave your like if this theme resonated with you, and if you believe that love, in all its forms, deserves to be lived with intensity and truth. And of course, comment below. Your testimony might be the encouragement someone needs to also face their fears and follow their heart.